realtor.
Sorry about that. That's the new policies. It's the ADA. Yeah. All right, go for it.
So my name is Nicole Niquette. I've been with Keller Williams about 6 years and been in the industry for 7 years. I started out with a very small boutique brokerage in the South Bay while I was trying to, get the ball rolling. I did not sell a single thing my first year. It was awful, but it got better after that. I am a mentor at Keller Williams. I have about 10 mentees right now, and we are rocking and rolling, having some fun. And that's my story. I'm also a hairstylist. I left a salon during COVID. So now I was always full-time real estate, but then just also juggling my little side hustle. I still have about 25 clients just because I enjoy it. I don't want to leave it yet. So, and I do find that that's one of my lead sources as well for real estate. And then while I was getting into real estate, I was in the restaurant industry. I worked in the restaurants almost 18 years. And so I was, trying to make money while I wasn't making any money in real estate. And then finally I was able to let that go so I could focus. And that's really when my business started to take off.
That's very cool. Yeah. So you have kind of a unique, well, maybe not unique, but you definitely have you didn't jump in just full-time real estate. You were juggling a few different types of things. And I know you had talked a little bit about early on, you didn't have as much success. And now, I mean, obviously you're doing well. What originally got you into real estate? Like, why did you choose real estate when you had some of these other things going on? And why have you continued to choose being in it?
Absolutely. So I was working in the restaurant, working in a salon, and I was still just not completely satisfied. And I was like, there's something missing. And so I was like applying to become a flight attendant with Delta. So I was like, I never take time off. So I'll probably go and work for Delta and be able to travel. And one of my clients in the salon was like, why don't you just get into real estate? Because you can do hair, you can sell homes, you can be here. And I was like, oh, okay. So then the next day I just signed up to get my license. And that's pretty much how it all started.
Wow, that's crazy. And can you I mean, I know where you're from, but are you from California? If not, how did you move out here? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Michigan. I've been out here 11 years and I did not know a soul. I literally just, I went through a divorce and I just basically threw a dart at the map, Hermosa Beach, packed up a 14-foot U-Haul, drove out here, moved in with some people, lived on a couch for a while, walked into a bar, got a job, and the rest was history.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's really crazy. What, a lot of people in LA, it's not uncommon to have people who aren't born and raised in Los Angeles who have that built-in spirit, especially when getting into real estate. We talk so much about, who do you know, who knows, likes, and trusts you. How long do you feel like it took you to build a solid, database, a really solid sphere of contacts? And how did you do that?
So the database thing is still always a work in progress, always under construction. I'm still continually reminding myself I need to get into it more because, so that way you don't have to keep it all in your brain. You keep it all on the computer and then it's just there. Um, I was pretty fearless when I got into the business. So I just started door knocking and cold calling. My first cold call was a $1.7 million listing appointment. I did not get it because I didn't know anything. I was terrible, but it was like good practice. It's like, getting your reps in, like going to the gym. But I was actually like looking back on the track sheet of, where my business has come from. And my very first year, or well, my second year, because my first year I didn't sell anything, like 4 deals were from cold calls, 2
Wow.
deals were from door knocking. So that old school stuff really works.
Wow, that's cool. So for somebody on this call who's, maybe on the newer end, maybe they've been through a year, or maybe they're just starting out, and if you could tell them, a couple pieces of advice on how to kind of get in the rhythm of doing some lead generation, what
Yeah,
would you recommend?
picking up the phone, being consistent, at least making 5 contacts a day, start small and build up. I'm in a coaching program where the goal is really 25 a day. And so pre-pandemic, I was door knocking Monday through Friday from 9 to 12, getting 25 contacts a day. Sometimes you could get your contacts in an hour and a half if everybody's home, but Otherwise, it could take up to 3 hours, but you have that time blocked. So, and I really liked just, being outside, being in the sunshine, talking to people, getting those contacts in. And a lot of times, the business isn't coming from the direct result that you're doing. It's just honestly like putting yourself out there, being in conversation and being like in the energy of it all, and other things will come to you. Because there, like, for a year I was in Manhattan. We were like every day I was going with a partner because it's more fun and I felt more safe, I guess I would say. Monday through Friday we were going in a different neighborhood, and I have like a spreadsheet of like 6,000 people that we met. And I did not do the best job of following up with these people, but like I would go back and I would check the MLS, and like these people do end up moving. So it's not a complete waste of time as long as your follow-up strategy is on point.
I
So
like
just
that. Right. The initial contact's important, and then the follow up too.
that's everything.
Yeah. That's cool because like so many other things when we're talking about building a habit or trying to get results out of a small that's something that we do every day. The example I like to use is when I try and read, 5, 10 pages of a book or listen to 5 minutes of a business book or a podcast or something, and I don't get a brilliant insight every day, right? It's not like I'm doing that to find something to find some kind of inspiration. When it happens, it's great, but the more each day I do it, the more likely I'm going to find something like that because I'm giving myself the opportunity to stumble across something like that, right? I'm making those connections. So like you're talking about, it's kind of a numbers game. If you're doing something every day and you're consistent, you may not see those results every day. You may not see those results for a while, but even the practice of you doing it puts you in that space to like receive those opportunities is what I'm hearing you say.
Yep. So besides those things, always Saturday and Sunday, every single week, I was holding an open house in the area that I wanted to work in. So my area was Playa Vista. I kind of picked that little niche because, people would buy in there as soon as they could, and then they would grow out of it a year and a half later. So I had a lot of clients that every single year they were moving, they were buying bigger condos. They love Playa Vista. And so that was like a really cool little thing that I found out. Basically, one of my very first clients, they wanted to lease their property in Playa Vista. That's how I found out about it. And I advertised for the open house, and I had 100 people through the open house for a lease. And I was like, okay, this is a good area. This is where I need to be. So just
That's
finding
crazy.
your
Yeah, find your niche. I like that. What are your thoughts on, so we've talked about how you've sort of come up and how you've gotten business. If we take a step back and look at like a macro view, where do you feel like, from your perspective, the market is with all the stuff going on? And where do you feel like business will be coming from moving forward? And it can just be your business. We're not looking for like, some kind of brilliant market analysis
oh
from
yeah.
you or anything, but just kind of like from your perspective, where do you feel like business will be coming from? Where are some things that we can look for?
Yeah, I was never much into the economics of the
Yeah.
world, but business, it's always past client, repeat, and referral. And that's it. And that's really where we need to spend the most time and energy. And of course, if you're a new agent, you have to stretch and you have to do the things that are uncomfortable, like the other things that we talked about. But you really want to focus on the people that you know, because those are the people that know, like, and trust you and that are going to do business with you.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you stay engaged with those people?
Honestly, like, so I have spreadsheets of all the people, of all the transactions that I've done. So, like, once a quarter, I go back through every single person that I've done a transaction with, and I just reach out to them, just say hi, see what they're doing, see if there's anything I can do to help them, provide them a CMA, or if they're thinking about moving, helping them make the next step.
Cool. Simple as that. Just going through, just making sure to be consistent with it is what it sounds like.
Next. That's
Yeah,
how most people communicate now these days, and they just get back to me when they get back to me.
that's cool. If you had to start your business over today, knowing what you know over the past 11 years, what would you do differently, if anything, from day one?
That's a hard question. Um, I think that I would maybe more focus on my database and like building that CRM system to be like super functional. Like, cause I dumped a bunch of people in there, like, random, like spreadsheets of like leads that I don't know those people. And I just wish that I would have just like started out, small and just the people that I knew. Well, I'm working on all of that now because I have like 5,000 people in there, 4,000, I probably don't know. But just like really just cleaning things up, creating systems and strategies and following like a protocol. The more systems that you have, the less work it takes out of it because you're
Yeah.
just following them. Also, when you're starting out, you just don't know what you don't know. So it's just been over time growing, growing, growing. Like I had no idea, how to be a marketing person when I first started. You're wearing so many hats as a realtor. It's just like figuring out as you go. And there's no real guidebook, you
Right.
know. I don't know that I would do anything different. I really like how it all worked out, even though the first year sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I heard you say basically is that you don't know what you don't know, so don't spend time necessarily over analyzing, but just kind of like get into action, do what you do know, right, and do the best you can with what you know, and just constantly like do it consistently and just look to get better, basically, right? I mean,
Context and don't give up, and that's it.
yeah, yeah. And that's funny because I think we look for the shiny object of like, well, give me the secret, what did you? But I think the success is in the simple like that, showing up every day, doing the basic stuff really well, better than most of the people who are supposed to be doing it.
Yeah, I didn't spend any unnecessary money. I believe in sweat equity. So that was good. Like I still have never bought a lead to this day. The best money you can spend is on open house signs. That's it.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Look
That,
at open houses like a restaurant. These people are coming in to order something, basically. They want something. Otherwise, why are you going to go into an open house? They're either looking to buy, looking to sell, or they're thinking about it. I mean, that's it. And
yeah,
so you have to work on, building a relationship with those people. And that's like so easy.
I love that. Open house are like a restaurant. That's good. They're there for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, they're there for a reason. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your business. Like, do you have an assistant? Do you work with buyer's agents? Do you work with other agents? Is it just you? What does that look like?
I have I guess I would say maybe like a listing specialist. So I have somebody that I pay a portion of my commission to basically they come with me once I've already gotten the listing. We go actually they will go, he'll meet the stager there and the painter and all the vendors. He'll talk to the sellers regarding any upgrades that they've done. He'll put everything into the MLS. So that's super easy. And then all I have to do is upload the photos and press send. And then he's just there. He's like a runner. Anything that I need, he'll go do regarding that listing. Anytime there needs to be a showing and someone has to be there, he'll go. So it's kind of like maybe like a part-time assistant and then a transaction coordinator. I could not do a single deal without a transaction coordinator. I would not survive. And then just me.
Nice, nice. So as you're looking at your business now, kind of where you are and where you want to be, what do you feel like the next step is for you? Do you want to expand and bring on some help? Do you feel like you're good where you are? You can handle a little bit more?
I think it's been said that you can do 30 transactions on your own. So once I break 30, that's when I need to hire somebody.
Awesome. And when you're looking to do that, like, what do you feel like you're going to be looking for? What's that next, step? You're going to be looking to hire an assistant, somebody to help with buyers. What does that look like?
Not full-time assistant licensed.
Full-time assistant. Cool. Okay, so we've talked about some productivity tips. We've talked about kind of where you feel like your business is. Give us like an interesting or like a funny story from your real estate career so far. It's maybe something that's just kind of stood out of, you don't come across that every day, one that you share with your friends that they wouldn't know.
All I can really think about is like in the beginning when I got started, it was just a complete nightmare. Like I had my open house signs being stolen, I had them being run over by cars. I had listings canceling, even though we got multiple offers, couldn't find them anywhere to move to. So just like whatever negative thing, it was like 3 steps forward and like 10 steps back.
Wow.
So that's one story. The second story is that in working with like like properties that are going into foreclosure. Like you have to be very careful
Mm.
in what part of the process that they're in. Because was dealing with a very unexperienced agent on the listing side. And basically, like in Victorville during the coronavirus, like it was the hottest market I've ever seen in my entire life. Like we're talking 30, 40, 50 offers on each property. It was a complete nightmare. We finally got into escrow on a property, and we were about 7 days from the close, and the bank sold it at an auction right before we closed.
Wow.
Just a complete nightmare. So I would just say, like, do more due diligence and figure out where they are in the process. I feel like every single transaction is a learning experience, some positive, some very negative. That's why you're always stimulated in this business.
Yeah. What obviously everyone's business to an extent was affected by COVID, by 2020, and even still, I know we're just kind of seems like we're coming more out of it now. We're definitely on the back end of it. What were some things that you did through that time to kind of help get you through and help keep you, motivated and productive?
Well, in the beginning, I was completely paralyzed because I went from working, 14-hour days, being with people every day, to just being, alone and isolated like everybody else. So that was really hard. But the main thing that I implemented was just learning that, as a realtor, you don't need to go and run out to somebody's house to have a consultation. So really implementing Zoom and having that be the first consultation every time, no matter what, and getting a commitment from these people to work with me first before I go to the property has just been monumental.
Mm, that's cool. That's cool.
Mhm. Much less time wasted.
Yeah. Who are some business role models that you have, like either other real estate agents or just people in business that you look to as like, I want to, like, that's my standard. That's kind of what I want to get to someday, or that's what I'm striving for.
Well, there are a ton. There are so many. Like, for instance, like Taya DeCarlo, she kills it in the social media world with the video. It took me like 4 years to get behind the camera, and now finally I'm starting to do it. It's still slightly uncomfortable, but that's where our world is going. So you have to stay in with the trends. But like top teams like Kasky in the area, like they have a machine, and that's the goal for sure. And then like I have a real estate coach, Steve Shull, who I love, and then also Tom Ferry.
Very cool. Okay. And you talked a little bit about teams. So when you're talking about that's the goal, do you want to build a team, like a big team like that someday?
Yeah, like a machine for sure.
Okay. If you had to, what advice would you give to somebody who is either new or maybe a few years in and they're not, they're maybe considering a team, they're kind of looking at like, should I join a team? Should I just dig in and do it myself? Like, what would you tell that person?
I highly recommend doing the team thing and look at it as like a paid internship. You're paying them half your commission so that you can learn and you can get into momentum and you can really figure out how this business works. I joined a team. I was in the mentor program at Keller Williams. I did a couple deals with a mentor, and then I jumped into a team. And then I was with the team maybe like 6 to 8 months. As soon as I was in momentum, I just got it. It just snapped and I just understood. Also, I was doing so much of my own lead generation, especially even from the year before, that finally, once I was in momentum, things just started clicking and transactions just kept happening. So I highly recommend it because you'll get the support, the culture, the love, and all of that you need. And it's not forever. It doesn't have to be forever, but I definitely
Right.
recommend.
Cool. Cool. Um, Two of the people that you mentioned as people that you look up to, it sounds like are coaches or in some kind of coaching. Tell us a little bit about like why you continue to be, and I think you're in our office coaching too with our team leader. And so you're in like multiple coaching relationships. And you coach, like you mentor people, you mentor new agents. So it obviously seems like it's important to you. Why is that important to you?
Well, I have a very much like a growth mindset, and I just feel like always be learning, never be like stagnant. And so there's always something that you can learn from someone. That's why I just like believe in it so much. And it helps you to reach goals when someone else, you're being accountable to someone else and you're pushing yourself more.
Yeah, I love that. always be learning. It helps you to be accountable. I think that's so true. About a good coach will help you, will teach you something every time you talk to them, right? To give you like, and help you basically, I mean, what they do is they help you self-discover something, and
Yeah,
they hold their that accountability.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I'll open it up to some questions. I know we have a few minutes left, so I want to give anyone else a chance who wants to throw a question Nicole's way. Don't be shy. Now's your time to ask if there's anything I didn't cover that you guys are curious about.
Bring it.
Look at that face. She's ready.
I have a question. I'm sorry. Was that
Go for it.
okay? You mentioned you highly recommend joining a team. What about those who want to spearhead it on their own? They want to go at it on their own.
Oh yeah, 100%. Do it. Okay, not everyone is motivated on their own. So if you are one of those people who is motivated on your own, do it. Go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Do it for a year or two and see how it goes, and then you reevaluate if you need to, join a team to get into momentum. But more power to you if you can do it on your own, because then you're keeping all of your commission, which I highly recommend as well.
Follow-up question to that, because that's a really good question. And I think, Nicole, I'd appreciate your perspective on this. So if somebody has those two choices, join a team or do it on my own, you mentioned some of the benefits of being on a team, right? You mentioned the accountability, the learning, the system. If somebody chooses to do it on their own and go for it, what would you say they need to have in place to kind of make up for that team environment that they're missing out on? Like, what can they do to ensure that it's not going to be quite the same, but it'll help them accomplish similar things?
All they really need to do is create their own schedule and stick to it. And the thing is you want to be lead generating for as long as it takes to get your first deal. So if it takes 8 hours a day, every day until you get your first deal, that's what you need to do. You can't not lead generate. You have to do it.
Thank you so much.
They have leads, like they have like a machine that like creates these leads that they're sending to you. So it's like helping you. It's like pushing you, to get into momentum versus doing it all on your own. So if you have, the drive and the grit and the motivation to do it on your own, you do it on your own. Like I have, mentees that they just aren't self-motivated. And so for them, they need to be on a team because they need the extra help. They need the push. They need the leads. Versus they're not gonna go out and get them on their own.
I love that. Great question. Great question. Anyone else have a question? You got time for probably a couple more.
I have a question. I was wondering, when you are representing the buyer and it's such a hot seller's market and there's multiple offers on a table, what is your best advice for your offer to be the one beating like the 7 or 10 other offers on the table? Thank you.
Of course. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. So first of all, you have to be looking under your buyer's max price range. So if their max is $1 million, you really need to be looking at 850 to 900,000, so that if they need to stretch to $1 million to come $100,000 over the list price, that they have that money to do so. And you have to have that conversation with them up front. The market is moving so fast that the comps are irrelevant. And by the time you're in escrow and you're about to close, something else has closed that will back up your comp. So the house that you're in. So first of all, it's being super aggressive. My buyers have to max out their price range on every property if they want to even try to compete with it. Super short contingency periods. In fact, removing appraisal and removing loan contingency upfront, which I would never normally recommend doing, but now we have to do it every time to even compete because there's so many cash offers. Also, like going above and beyond and being so sweet to the listing agent, because this person has to pick you. So whatever you have to do, if you have to drop off bottles of wine to sweeten the deal, thank you cards, drop off the offer in person, whatever it is, you have to do it. Finding out, what are the special needs of the sellers? Just catering to them, because this is a seller's market. So you just have to do whatever you have to do to try to get that offer accepted.
I love that. That's a really good question. And three tangible takeaways I took was, have the conversation with your clients up front about what it's going to take to really even compete, because a lot of people don't know, this is their first time buying. So, you know, being able to know what homes are selling for and then compare that to your max price and say, look, we're only going to look at homes 25% below what homes on average are selling for, because we're going to have to jump, you know, below your max price, because we're going to have to jump up a lot. So let's start there. Being in relationship with other agents, the more relationships that you're in with producing agents, you know, they're doing listings, the greater chance you have of having that familiarity. When you run across a property that they're in, you have that relationship already. So if you don't have that established with that agent, that is a great tip, to be finding people now and being in relationship with agents and just finding out those special needs of the seller so you can accommodate them.
Yeah, like one time I found out that a seller was moving to Santa Barbara and they wanted the offers like hand delivered. So I hand delivered the offer with a bottle of wine from Santa Barbara for the listing agent and for the seller, with a thank you note, and always like a letter from the client to the seller in regards to how much that they love the property and they, you know, blah, 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 all that fluff, that warm, fuzzy stuff.
Wow, that is good. Bottles of wine from the place they're looking to move, hand delivered. That is, yeah.
Yeah, like so just to give you a little like market insight, which you guys probably all already know, I listed a tear down in Gardena for 500,000 5 days ago. We had 31 offers. 16 were all cash. We did not even have to counter a loan. All of those people fell off. We countered 16 all cash offers. Like, is that not insane? Like, this is just crazy. It's so scary for the buyers. And I'm a buyer's agent. I love the buyers, but I'm just like, oh my God, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Great 2 questions. I wish we had time for more, but Nicole does teach a few classes in from our market center. She's always willing to give her time and do that, which we're super thankful for. So next time she has a class, we'll definitely make sure to put it in front of all you guys, so you are able to join and you can check it out. Because obviously, I could talk with Nicole and listen to her talk about this stuff for forever. Thank you for jumping on. You're such a great business person and a mentor, and really a model for how to start and continue to grow. I love that about you.
I appreciate everything. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend so much. Go sell something.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.